What's up, guys? This is Earl the Squirrel.
And this is PUMACAT.
Here with Of Dragons and Men with a little bit of a surprise for you today. We're doing a review video of our two-headed giant we just got back from. We went 1 and 2, had a lot of fun, learned a few things about the set, some weird reactions, weird interactions, especially with two-headed giant.
Some of the new mechanics are really interesting.
But so we're just kind of run through what we played, what we pulled. Right off the top, we pulled a Sigarda. Didn't end up running there. It killed us a little bit. It didn't really hurt us in the games, but our souls were hurting a little bit. Our hearts were hurting.
We just couldn't find a way to fit her into the deck sufficiently, unfortunately. But, you know, I feel like with what we pulled, we were able to, you know, build the best that we could.
So overall, our pool was, I would say, average. I wouldn't say it was terrible, but it definitely wasn't good.
Yeah, you know, in terms of rarities, you know, we pulled several mythics, so that's always a plus. But unfortunately, you know, it wasn't like our Game 3 opponents. Their promo was the new Jace.
So, pulled a lot of black-blue rares, which kind of was why we ended up running black-blue. As we were opening the packs, we looked at each other and was like, well, somebody's running blue.
Yeah, and I'm not as much of a control player as you are.
So I guess I'll start with mine over here. I ran black-blue Vampire Mill, which was a lot of fun to play, even if it didn't work out well. Right here, the Startled Awake was awesome. So there you go. Get it to focus for you guys so you can see it. We actually won our first round with this on the last turn of extra turns. We milled one of our opponents out. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's the 2 and 2 blue. Target opponent puts the top 13 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, which is busted and sealed because you only have a 40-card deck.
Yeah, you drop that twice and they're pretty much gone.
And then the second ability is 3 and 2 blue. You return this from your graveyard onto the battlefield transformed. You can only activate it at sorcery speed. And it comes in transformed. It's a little 1/1 nightmare with Skulk, which means it can't be blocked by any creatures with a power greater than its. So, you know, a 1/1, there's not a whole lot of 0 powers.
Unless they're running... Oh, yeah, that doesn't apply to other 1/1s. Yeah, nope. They can only be blocked by zeros. I didn't realize that. Wow.
No, it can't be blocked by 1/1s, I'm sorry.
Oh, it can?
Anything greater.
Okay.
But then when it deals combat damage, you return it to your hand, transform back, they mill 13 more. It's pretty broken. It is a little slow. It is a little expensive. It takes 3 turns at least, you know, to get it to go off. But... I enjoyed it. I like playing Mill.
Yeah, you know, and you know, I opened that, you know, pack 1. I was like, Josh. I was like, we need to play this.
So yeah, we rolled with that. Then we had Thing in the Ice. I think it's good. Never actually got to play it. The one game I saw it was in Game 3, and I accidentally milled it out on myself. But it's a 1 and a blue for an 0/4 defender. It ends with 4 ice counters on it. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you remove an ice counter from it. When it has none, you transform it. And it turns into this massive 7/8 Kraken Horror. And you return all non-horror creatures to their owner's hands when it transforms. So definitely would have been a game winner or a huge momentum swing, but we never actually got to see it.
Those stupid crows.
Yeah, those crows aren't as good as I thought they were. Slayer's Plate did a lot of work. Both games I got it out. The one game I got it out turn 3, and it consistently helped me
on the field buffing just about everything. Put it on.
Consistently helped me trade up with the bigger creatures our opponents were playing, even though I actually had no humans to get the spirit tokens. Then Confirmed Suspicions. Never actually got to play it. I think it's a little expensive, but counter spells are kind of at a premium in this format. Again, never got to see it, so I can't really tell you how good it was, but, I mean, that was my promo. I have a knack for pulling terrible promos, though.
What are you talking about? Aligned Hedron Matrix is the best promo to pull.
Yeah. From under the floorboards, it actually did some solid work for us tonight in 2 different games. It kept us in Game 1 and helped us win that, and it bought us an extra turn Game 2, even though we were playing 2 aggro decks, and it didn't really matter.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get to cast it for its madness cost, but, you know, I'm sure if we had, it would have made it just all the more better.
And then never actually got to get this out either, but Mind Rack Demon. I had enough of the mill and stuff going on where I wouldn't have been taking the 4 off the Delirium. Would have been nice, but it didn't really end up working out. I don't know, maybe it was just karma for being those guys who pre-sleeved all matching full art lands. Who knows?
Yeah, so yeah, for my pool, I was running red-green werewolves because, I am the Timmy aggro player, if there ever was one. I'd like to start right here, Ember Eye Wolf. This came out game 1 and pretty much stayed out the entire game. It's a pretty solid card. You buff it, it's got for 1 and a red, you give it +2/0 and it has haste. And something that I didn't notice until it was pointed out to me is that's just something you can keep buffing. So by the end of game 1, I had around 8 mana on the field, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to swing with this. It's got +3/+3 from other buffs, and now I'm giving it +8/0.
I think we gave it flying at one point, too.
So it was just ripping through people. And it came out, I think, at least one other game, but by that point...
Yeah, I think it came out game 2, but we were so far behind by that point it didn't matter.
By that point, we couldn't really do anything about it. This is a pretty quality card, the Timber Shredder Werewolf. I guess I already have these transformed, but what's decent about this is it's a 2-drop. It comes in, it's a 2/1, yeah, but when it transforms, you got a 4/2 trample. In a sealed format, if you can get a 4/2 with trample out, turn 3 if they don't cast anything or play any spells, that gets you on the board with some decent power pretty early. And something about the format that we didn't really realize till just going into game 2 with the werewolves is that with Two-Headed Giant, even if you both cast a spell, that doesn't count
to retransform them back.
To retransform them. So, for a while we were thinking like, oh, werewolves don't quite have the potency that they normally would, but...
Which is still rough because you have 2 players trying to play spells.
Mm-hmm.
But
so getting them to transform is a bit more difficult than usual, but once you have them transformed, they'll usually stay that way. And then this one is actually one of my more favorite werewolves because his base and then his transformed both have abilities to where whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, you get to draw a card. So it kind of de-incentivizes them from playing spells if you're trying to get these guys transformed and keeps you going on the draw because as an aggro deck, you tend to run out of cards pretty quick.
Which helped you refuel game 1 for sure. I don't know that it really... I don't think you drew anything on the other 2 games, but game 1 you drew a couple cards off from it.
I think I only played this game 3, and by the time I played it, I think he jaced it back to my hand.
I think you played it game 1 because...
I did game 1, but I think the other time I played it, yeah.
Yeah, he neg-2 Jace to bounce everything back.
He just kept bouncing everything back, and I was just unable to keep up with it. And then this right here, it was the MVP werewolf, in terms of damage, at least, if nothing else. It's a 3/3, 1 and 2 red. When he transforms, he's a 4/3 and gives other creatures, attacking creatures you control, +1/0 and trample. It kind of reminds me of a less effective version of Crew and Outlaw from the original Innistrad. When it transformed, all your werewolves got double strike when they attacked. So I kind of felt a little throwback with this one, and I know when we swung damage-wise, when we buffed everything, it was like 17 or 18 damage in one swing. It was ridiculous.
We had a couple times where if we hadn't had you get hit with a discard spell, we'd have had Alpha Strike out with the Magmatic Chasm.
Yeah, that makes it so that creatures without flying can't block. But unfortunately, they exiled that from my hand game 1, and we didn't really find a time to use it game 3.
Because pretty much every matchup we played, there was a control. Well, the first matchup we played was 2 mid-range black-white decks.
Yeah, which
almost identical decks.
They were, pretty much identical. They kept playing all of the same spells.
And then, I think they would have been better off, personally, letting one person pick the cream of the crop for that, and then I'm sure they had other stuff. There's no way they didn't have something else in another color to play.
Yeah.
But I think there were some newer players, so it was a pretty good deck. We had a lot of fun playing them. Like I said, we milled them out.
I was gonna say, it was an incremental game. Our life totals, it's almost down off the gamepad. We just kept going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, gaining life, losing life, gaining life. It was crazy. They were able to keep us in check for a while, but ultimately, that mill came through for us.
And game 2, we played a black-white, weenie aggro deck, and then a red-green aggro deck.
We didn't really get to see a whole lot of their decks.
We lost turn 6 because they, Devin here stole one of their things, and then they came back and we're like, that looked like fun, and stole our big thing.
Yeah, I should try that.
Stuff.
I I mulliganed that one. 200 giant, you get a free mulligan. I mulliganed down because my first hand wasn't quick enough. Because you drew.
My hand, folks, was Mindracker Demon, Confirmed Suspicion, Thing in the Ice, Startled Awake, and 3 lands.
And we were just like, we have to play this.
And it killed me, but I was like, we're on the draw, because we were on the draw every game tonight.
We lost every single die roll.
And I was just like, I've got to do it. Like, I looked at him, I'm like, I hope it doesn't come back to bite us, but I've got to do it.
And lo and behold,
it came back to bite us.
To bite us pretty hard. We weren't expecting 2 aggro decks out of that. But, yeah, the card I was stealing with is this one right here, Malevolent Whispers. It's, it's a 4-drop, so it's not the quickest thing out there, but when they've pumped something up, unbelievably, or, they have 1 creature, you steal it in Alpha Swing. It's a pretty potent card. I never actually used the Madness ability. There are decks that if you build around it right, I can see it being potent.
Madness is really good if you have the enablers. Like, even I only had a couple of them in my deck, so I didn't get to utilize a lot of the Madness.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of misunderstood a little bit of how it worked on one of the times I went to play it, which was
not,
my own fault.
It's not quite as effective as an ability. It's more for cards that have a higher converted mana cost instead of madness cost, whereas this card had its madness cost was the same as its converted mana cost.
But I do definitely think that madness was the best new mechanic out of the ones we saw tonight.
Is menace a new mechanic?
No.
No? Okay.
No. But yeah, then game 3 we ended up in a mirror.
Yeah, it was so I was running red green wolves and you're running blue black control.
He was just splash and white, but they had a couple walkers on their side, so that definitely helped.
Yeah, and they had so many pump spells. It was every single time they went into combat, they had some sort of pump spell to counteract whatever sort of blocking or any pump spells we had. It was just they were, hitting us tit for tat essentially.
But had a lot of fun. Met a couple, cooler people that are newer in the community.
Yeah.
If you're in the Springfield, Missouri area, we were over at Meta Games Unlimited. They put on a great pre-release. Big facility. It's clean. The people there are very knowledgeable, very helpful.
Oh, yeah. The community here is great.
But, yeah, so did that. We skipped out on the midnight one this time around just for the sake of not totally throwing our sleep schedules out of whack after finally correcting them after spring break.
Yeah.
May or may not go to another one tomorrow. Probably not, though. But we're definitely looking forward. I know I'm looking forward to playing more with this set, especially with it's limited. We'll be streaming it for people, you guys here in the next few weeks. May even do a pre-release event on Moto next weekend for you guys if we've got some interest in that. A lot of fun. It's super flavor. It's Innistrad, so the flavor just.
Oh, the flavor in this set is just—it's honestly the best part. You got the werewolves, you got the demons, you got the vampires,
the angels, which have gone
angels.
rogue.
There's just so much happening lore-wise in this set. It's ridiculous.
The clue tokens are amazing. In fact, we've got a bunch of them here.
I think we pulled almost every single one.
I mean, we've got the stained glass window. We've got like the
whatever that is.
The bent. I think that's the bent symbol for Avacyn.
Oh, might be.
We've got the locket, which may or may not have the Emrakul motif on it.
That Emrakul,
Not even sure what this one is, but it's kind of awesome.
It's more like it's from Ravnica than Innistrad.
And then we've got a couple of the, the feather, the bloodstained angel feathers. So the art's just on point. The flavor's on point. If nothing else, the flavor's there. There's some great cards.
Oh, yeah. I only ended up seeing the one Jace Walker tonight.
I heard a lot of yelps, though, as we were opening packs. A lot of people fist pumping, and I don't know how many promo walkers were open, but I know several walkers were open. I counted 4 different people who had a Sorin somewhere in their pool that they were playing.
Wow.
Which, I've probably played in 24 plus pre-releases over the past 3 or 4 years.
Something like that.
Opened, a handful of extra packs. Never pulled a Planeswalker, but I didn't pull 3 Whims of the Fates. So I'm automatically happy with my pool when all my rares aren't Whims of the Fates, like my Board of the God pre-release.
Yeah, and it's just, you see all these people pulling walkers at pre-releases, and you're like, I've run so many of these. Where's my walker?
But, I mean, that's part of the fun of Sealed, part of the frustration of Sealed. It's just, you kind of got to run with what you got.
Yeah, and I mean, it's you know, despite maybe our pool not being the best, I had a blast. You know, it's always fun to go out and try out, you know, a new set, a new format. It's definitely slower. It's definitely slowed down a bit, at least from.
Well, other than that, that second match.
Okay, that was two aggro decks going against us. Game one, we went to the last turn.
Turn 5. At their upkeep, they had turn 5, and she went to draw, and
she was out of cards. Oops.
I was like, sorry. Well, technically, not even then, because she couldn't mill all 13. She would have died then.
Yeah, but
they were losing one way or another, and they were both relatively new players, so I didn't really push the issue.
Yeah, they knew they were gonna lose when it came to draw, and so there was nothing they really could have done. So.
But yeah, definitely. Like I said, I think deck building wise, we built the best deck we could have built, or pair of decks we could have built. This card right here, Crow of Dark Tidings, not as good as I thought it was. I forgot to read the entire card. I didn't realize you discard 2 when it enters the battlefield and when it dies.
Doesn't it say or? It
No.
says when it enters the battle. Oh, so,
or dies.
So that means yeah, that's a
so
situation.
You know, game 3 I had 2 of them in my hand, and because they were swinging, I just had to put something down the block so we didn't lose that turn, and I ended up, you know, milling myself 8, one of which was the thing on the ice and the islands I needed.
You milled yourself 2 islands. You had one
I got stuck on one island with 2 double blue spells in my hand.
Well, it looked like a promising opening hand. You just never drew into the island.
I mean, I'm sure we made a couple of small misplays, but nothing huge. I feel like we played pretty well. Game 2, we just got totally outclassed.
Oh, game 2, we didn't really.
Game 3, I honestly, it was me. I slowed us down enough because I had cards stuck in my hand.
Yeah, but there was also the fact that, you know, the other guy, he didn't play a single creature. You know, he was just there specifically to support that other deck.
He had all the kill and pump, which.
So I was, you know, with you being a little bit slower, I wasn't able to, unfortunately, keep up with all the buffed creatures they were putting out. Those Pyre Hounds.
Those Pyre Hounds were pretty good.
Those were annoying.
But, I mean, had a lot of fun. Everyone we played with was pretty chill.
Oh, yeah, we didn't have any, like, super competitive, like, oh my god, we need to win players.
For the most part, you know, that's the case with pre-release. You might get the one jerk who's there trying to wreck the newbies, but for the most part, that's part of the beauty of the community here is they kind of run those people out because they really just want everyone to have a good time. And, you know, if you're not having a good time, you talk to them and they make sure you're having a good time. So
yeah, it's a really, really solid community here.
But unless you have anything else, I mean, closing thoughts. I had a lot of fun. The crows are the only things I would have changed about my deck. I feel like other than that, I had a pretty solid control deck. A little slow maybe for the aggro matchups that we ended up in.
Yeah, I feel like I maybe could have splashed white into mine, maybe just for the chance of Sigarda, and there were a few other buff spells in white that I had that I probably should have run but didn't.
And I guess we always could have run black-red vampires, but I mean, that's part of the thing with a sealed pool is you've got, especially in two-headed giant, you've got to build 2 decks in a short span of time, and you're sorting through 2 pools. So, yeah, had a lot of fun again. Just great set, great people. I honestly think I enjoyed it more having slept last night.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than showing up at midnight and then showing up again at like 9 to play another one.
Oh,
and
man,
then,
those people that were talking about firing off like the first 2 already, I'm like...
No, 3.
3, yeah.
I think today was the 4th one for
3.
some of the people. The two-headed giant one was.
I'm just like, how are you still playing? Like, it's almost just not got to be fun anymore.
So definitely, I mean, we went in fresh, but I feel like at the downside, not having played with them, we didn't understand some of the interactions is better. But
especially going into this newer, like this new set as a 2-headed giant format, that only just complicates things so much further.
Which this was actually PUMACAT. This was your first foray into 2-headed giant at a pre-release or a tournament like
that. At any sort of actual event, you know, all the pre-releases I'd been running, which I've been doing since at least pre-M13. Just before pre-M13, yeah. I've done just the midnight solo one. It's just always been the midnight one. That's just the way it is. That's how pre-releases are. And then we're just like, you know what? Let's do 2-headed giant. Let's give this a try. Let's see how this goes. And I personally enjoyed it. I like 2-headed giant as a format.
And you know, Saucy, Reverend Cicito, moved to Colorado, so I lost my 2-headed giant partner. So I was glad to have him along.
Yeah, I guess I'll just have to do.
But probably gonna wrap it up here. We're coming up on 20 minutes.
Jeez, I'm ready.
But thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to go check out our other videos. As always, like, subscribe, head over to Twitch and check us out over there. We're starting to improve our streaming and increase how often we stream. We're trying to work that in around our busy school schedules. We do have a bunch of the dual deck videos. That playlist should be up live here in the next couple days. And we opened one of each of those. Join us for that that adventure.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with another pre-release vlog from my wedding weekend with Eldritch Moon. We'll definitely see if we can't draft some Eternal Masters, and we'll get some real life draft footage for you there.
Yeah.
We'll have a bunch of stuff we're doing that weekend. So
it's gonna be it's gonna be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, tune in. We'll have some more vlogs like this up. Let us know if there's any suggestions, things you'd like to hear us talk about, any improvements that, if you make videos yourself and you think there's any improvements we could make to the quality. Obviously, we're new at this, and we're trying to make the best content possible for all of you guys because we love the game and we want to share it with the community. But thanks for watching, guys.
See you next time.
Yeah, it's great to share this stuff with you guys. We look forward to a lot more videos in the future with you. Take it easy, guys. We love you. We'll catch you later.